Maybe this works, maybe it
Meeting
doesn't.
is now streaming live on YouTube.
I've been fooled before.
I see the link and I don't think it's to the right one.
I don't think it is either. Why does this keep happening? Okay. I have one more technique in my sleeve before I cancel everything I'm doing.
It's the worst.
Okay.
We could just copy the streaming link and put it into the chat of the other link, and then they could all go to that one.
Oh, that's true.
But I don't know if that matters for what you posted on your social media or whatever. But
that's true. Jordan, what do you think? That's the easiest solution.
Then let's just do that.
Okay, great.
Rachel, will you also text that to me so I can put it in my bio?
Yes, I will do that now.
So we're live on the other.
Yes.
Okay, so did you send me the link to that already? Zach, is that it from you?
In the Zoom chat should be the most.
Got it. Okay, so I just say.
I just told them that this was happening, and I am going to link it to them.
Sorry, I just realized that Zoom was talking over. Yeah, it should be the last thing there from 710.
Yes, that's great. That's what I saw. Ends in PR4Y.
Oh, I see that.
It should be the last thing there. From 710.
And be sure to mute whatever the. That's what I saw. Ends in PR4Y.
Oh, it should be the last thing there.
And be sure to mute whatever the. That's. Okay.
Okay, we're here.
We're live.
Are there people there?
Yeah.
Live.
Okay, great. Hello. Oh my God, I'm so sorry for all the tech issues. If you can't tell, this is the first time I've streamed, and it shows. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to Talk Chef. How is everyone?
Us?
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Oh my God, everyone's saying we look beautiful. This is incredible.
I'm good as well.
Okay, good. So guys, welcome to Talk Chef. I'm Reka.
I'm Jordan. I'm the co-host of Talk Chef with Reka.
And we have a guest here, and it's none other than Zac Oyama.
And I'm the guest.
Wow, Zac, we're so happy to have you.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. It's so exciting to talk about chefs that are top chefs.
Thank you.
Yeah, we love chefs that are tops.
Now, Zac, had you seen Top Chef before?
I've seen there was like a chunk when I first moved to LA where I watched Top Chef All-Stars with my brother-in-law and my sister when I was staying with them.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, like, I'm vaguely familiar with, like, I was really into it for this one season I watched. I had Richard Blais from certain Dropout projects, and who else was in there? Marcel, is that someone?
Yes, you're coming into season 2.
Is that season 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if this was an all-star, so that was Top Chef All-Star season 2. Is that what you're saying?
Right. He was in season 2 originally.
I see.
He might come back in season 8 as well. That's the all-star season, with Richard in it as well.
I see. Okay. Well, so I'm I really enjoyed that. Haven't really watched it since because I didn't have cable for a long time. And so it was really interesting to watch the first episode of the show all together.
Yes. Now, Zac, do you like cooking?
Yes, I do, but with the caveat of most times I really don't like it.
Okay, cool caveat. Yes.
Certain things that I like to make that I really like to eat, and then certain things like I find I'm not experienced enough to confidently try new recipes a lot without getting frustrated, if that makes sense.
Yes. I think the experimentation process can turn a lot of people off of cooking because people don't want to waste food. They don't want to waste their time. They just want to eat. So that makes sense to me.
I would say it is the opposite of how Reka and I feel, though. I think Reka and I
will say you are messed up.
You're wrong. You have your opinion. You are wrong. You're different than Reka and I.
Yes.
Who do try to make, I would say, 1,000 different things every single week.
Yes.
That's so many. That's so much more. I cook maybe 3 dinners a week. That's probably.
And what do you eat for the other 8 dinners that you need?
Phoebe cooks about 3 dinners a week, and then we have leftovers or frozen things or get takeout.
And you know what? There ain't no shame in that. We want everyone from all walks of cooking life on Talk Chef, because ultimately what I love about this show is I think it's got something for everybody. If you like cooking, it's for you. If you like reality shows, it's for you. If you like Padma Lakshmi, after season 1, it's for you.
That was a huge bummer for me.
Absolutely. And we will talk a great deal about Katie Lee, who was at the time Katie Lee Joel.
Billy Joel's wife. Okay.
What?
We'll talk about it.
That didn't out of her eyes.
She, in fact,
I think I knew that.
Billy Joel's wife at the time.
Yes, and we will get into that. But Zach, every Top Chef episode starts with something called a quick fire. Yeah. And quick fire is like a little small cooking challenge.
Yes.
And we still from the greats. We want to give you a little quick fire right now of just rapid fire questions, if that's cool with you.
I'll sharpen my knives. Let's go.
Okay, he's in the mood.
Okay, great.
I don't have any knives.
You're going to have 45 seconds for this quick fire, Zach.
And I'm going to be timing it.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a Top Chef record. Sometimes they get like 7 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. You're going to get 45 seconds for this.
The shortest quick fire of all time.
Okay. And Jordan, do you want me to go on the questions?
So go for the questions. And then when Reka finishes the first question, I will hit start.
Okay. You ready?
I love these rules. All right.
Quick fire. Zach, what is your favorite food?
Fried chicken.
Okay. What is your least favorite food?
Least favorite food, probably, oh gosh, wish I could. Natto.
Ooh, okay. What is a food you would never eat?
I don't know if I have one that I would never eat. I guess like bugs is something that I'm not crazy about.
Perfect. What's a food you've always wanted to try?
Ooh, one of those like those gold burgers or something. When people are like, my food's gold, you should try it, and it doesn't look good. But
what is your favorite type of cuisine?
I mean, Japanese food in general, if that's the type.
Yes. What is your favorite drink?
Ooh, I like a penicillin is a delicious drink to me.
Knives down, hands up.
Okay.
45 seconds.
Zach, you'll never know what those last questions I was going to ask are. And they were big. They were huge.
They were huge questions.
I
was like, I don't even know if we should ask those questions.
I don't even know. Yeah. Like, where do you want to die? Do you think there's an afterlife?
Wow.
We're not going to ask them. You did great though. You got a lot of
How many points did I get?
Yeah, you got, I think, let me tally, 64 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's really good.
The highest amount of points someone's gotten on this show so far.
Yeah.
You're on the board.
You're on the board, and that's terrific.
That's great.
I liked your answer for for your food you wouldn't try as bugs, because people do eat like crickets and like.
I would try bugs. I'll say that. That's I don't know that there's a food I wouldn't. Maybe like human, like that. Yeah. That's to it. I don't know. It's too late to change my answer. It's bugs now forever.
It's bugs. And if you eat bugs, I will find you, Zach. Because I'm going to be like, he said on Talk Chef season 1, episode 1, he wouldn't eat bugs.
Yeah.
So crazy. I've eaten bugs and they were good.
What bug?
I've had escamole, the ant eggs.
Yeah.
And those were good. And then I was home visiting family in New Orleans, and we went to the insectarium at the Audubon Zoo, and they actually did a culinary demonstration with bugs. Yeah. So I had crickets, I had mealworms, and they were good. I honestly think they're the protein of the future.
I do think crickets are the protein of the future. This is partially why I'm vegan though, because I do think like if I eat meat, I should eat whatever. And I can't bring myself to eat a bug, and I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, just don't eat any of it. You're fine.
That's so wild to me.
Hey, Jordan, for some reason, I thought per social media posts that you were vegan, but I'm just wrong.
So I'm not vegan. This is a really good question, and you'll see me kind of go back and forth a lot because I am not vegan. I grew up pescatarian because my parents do not eat meat.
Okay.
And in general, I try to eat locally and sustainably. I don't eat beef or pork. Occasionally, I will have a bunch of fried chicken. I do eat seafood. But I do make a lot of completely vegan meals. It's not particularly interesting, but it is complicated the way I eat.
Interesting. But it is interesting. And it sounds complicated.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, lots of folks eat bugs. They're a sustainable protein source. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I think that's great. I do. That's my thing. I'm like, I should either eat everything or I shouldn't like discriminate. Like, right. There's a difference between like having a taste for it and it's like, oh, I just don't like XYZ, or just like, ew, I would never eat.
Yes.
Ew, I would never eat this. I'm like, I don't know. I should eat everything if I eat meat.
Yeah. Barring a serious allergy.
Yeah. That I say, okay, fine. Sure.
To me when people like wouldn't eat a cow's, they're like, oh, like cow tongue? I won't eat that. But cow's ass?
No.
Yeah.
I would eat
like,
cow ass. If I used to eat meat. This is a fun fact for no one. I did used to eat meat. I would 100% eat cow ass. I would eat some weird part of a cow. But it was like when I thought about like, I love animals. I would never eat like a horse. I would never eat. I was like, hey, 12-year-old Reka, you're fucked.
It was really too upsetting. Like you had to finally give up eating cow ass.
I was like, damn, I love that dirty booty of that cow ass.
So sad.
Eat out that cow ass.
So sad you had to give that up.
Really sad when I had to tell my dad, like, Dad, I can't eat cow ass anymore. He's like,
he pulled his head out of a cow's ass.
Yeah, he went,
what do you mean?
Tears streaming down his face.
No daughter of mine is not gonna eat cow ass. Perfect. So that's great. We got the quick fire out of the way. I think we can dig into the meat of this episode. Yeah.
Really quickly, I would like to say that, so as we've mentioned before, these are raising money. Every episode is going to raise money for a different food-based charity, which is really fun. And for this week, we are raising money for Planting Justice, which is an organization that has built over 450 edible gardens in the San Francisco Bay Area. They've worked with 5 different high schools to develop food justice curricula and created 40 green jobs in the food justice movement for folks transitioning out of prison. So they do a ton of really cool stuff with food. We're really excited to support them. You can Venmo the money to my Venmo handle, and then we'll be posting on our Instagram tomorrow how much we've raised. I'm going to drop my handle in the chat periodically, just so you'll have it. And I'll go ahead and drop it now.
And just tag the comment with like the charity name or whatever, just so we can keep things organized. We promise we donate this money.
And like I said, we'll post the receipt tomorrow on our Instagram page. Yes. But that is my Venmo handle. Yes. So that's what we're doing. I just wanted to touch on that before we talk about the episode.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got thoughts. So Zach, you've only seen like scattered sort of episodes, and then you kind of got brought back to what feels like 1970 in this episode. It feels very old compared to the newer things.
I've been watching a lot of old reality TV right now. I'm pretty far through the first season of Survivor, so I'm used to like my screen not having these parts.
Yes,
you know,
like,
we're in that aspect ratio.
Yes.
Yeah, it is funny. What was the specific question? I don't want to go
too far.
No,
what did you think? Like, what first impressions when you started the episode?
Well, something I've just been noticing with Survivor, and then also with this is like early reality. A lot of people don't know how to play the game. Yes. And you see that very, very specifically in this episode where a guy just really fucks himself.
Ken fucking Lee is like it's just like he's the archetypical like disgusting man in a show. Yeah. He's so unpleasant to watch.
Is he in a lot of other stuff, or does he come back ever?
Yeah, so thank you so much for asking. He actually has no social media presence and has never done anything since Top Chef, it appears.
The first season? He's never in like any other kind of, he's never brought back
no one's heard from him.
I literally, before this episode, Googled if he had died so I could make sure like I could drag him adequately without like halfway through the episode someone being like, he's dead. Don't say that about him.
Right. Or like, he actually is a charitable, awesome man. You're so demented. Like he was going through a time. Fortunately, we can shit on him all we want. His name is Ken Lee, and he's so obnoxious. Luis brought this up in the chat. Thank you, Luis. Absolutely absurd. He's at Hubert Keller's restaurant, Fleur de Lis, and he dips his finger in the sauce that he's like, you're supposed to taste as you go as a chef, but you use a spoon. And he dips his finger in it.
A big finger.
A big finger. I'm not talking about the incidental fingers. We're talking the major players, the big ones.
The index.
The index. The first responders when you touch something gross, you know, like the dirtiest fingers. And it's enough to make a simple mistake, but then when he gets called out on it, he's like fucking razzing Hubert Keller and Tom Colicchio about it.
So, and all like that, just to be clear, so you know, Hubert Keller is like, I don't know, I would say like Hubert Keller is like a Scottie Pippen of cooking, right? Like
Hubert Keller is the Scottie Pippen of cooking. He gets he doesn't get as much recognition as the bigger but he's doing assists. He's really, I mean, he might be paid 120th in the NBA, but he's good.
And he wouldn't let the Michael Jordan shine without, I mean, like you need the Huberts to make who is in this analogy or metaphor, the Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan is me. Thank you so much for asking. I'm the Michael Jordan of cooking.
This guy, like when he was in after the challenge was what? You like see if you can last on a line for longer than 30 minutes for 30 minutes?
Yes. Or it was it was longer than 30 minutes. If you hit 30 minutes, you were one of the you're not going home tonight folks.
Which also feels so wild to me as someone who I have worked in many restaurants in all different positions, and I have not officially been a line cook, but I have worked on food trucks and in restaurants where I have had to cook in the kitchen. And the idea of being thrown into a stranger's kitchen that you've never been in, never met any of the people working in it, and being like, okay, work for 30 minutes is wild.
It sounds, I feel like that sounds impossible.
It sounds impossible. It is also, that restaurant has such a particular pedigree behind it. It's really well known. It's very fancy. It's like what a fancy chef would go to have a fancy meal, you know? And I will say, if I'm allowed to say this, the interior is extremely ugly. It looks like a karaoke lounge in New York that is disgusting.
Of that restaurant?
That restaurant. Because they go back there. Fleur de Lis opens for one night only in a later season, in season 13. And it's like a big deal because this is a place that's housed a lot of really famous chefs. It looks really gross inside. It's like red velvet curtains and
old. It's very gaudy.
It's very gaudy. It looks, I can't describe it better. It looks like Planet Rose on Avenue A and 14th Street in New York City, which is a gross karaoke bar that is fun and has zebra couches that are built into the walls.
But it's not trying to be Top Chef, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually asked Reka to promote their bar, and Reka said she would only
place to do karaoke, but also to find love.
This is a sponsored stream, right? For
Planet Rose.
Planet Rose.
I also, Jordan, I'm sorry, I'm kind of skipping all over the place because my passion is driving me.
I love that.
Talk about the quickfire in this episode, which was a fairly wily quickfire. Top Chef likes to be tricky. They like to a very common theme in Top Chef is and I don't know why by season 9 they don't understand, but it'll be we get to go on a night on the town finally, and then they arrive there and Padma's there. And they're like, and then I saw Padma, and I was like, they're like, oh no, it's a quick fire, it's an elimination.
And I'm in my jacket. I have my hat on.
Literally, Zach, you think you're joking, but they're like, and I
don't think I'm joking. Yeah.
They're like, I'm wearing a t-shirt. I would never cook in a t-shirt.
Well, that brings me to the quickfire in Hubert Keller's restaurant when Cynthia gets sent home, or not sent home, but sent I don't know, to the backyard of the restaurant where everyone was waiting.
Yeah.
And Hubert Keller is like, you can't be in the kitchen because those shoes are inappropriate. But she's wearing a chunky white sneaker.
I didn't understand that at all.
I
They
didn't
looked so normal.
When we saw a shot of her shoes, I for sure was like, oh, was she wearing like heels?
Yes.
And it was like a totally regular shoe.
Yeah, with tons of tread.
I saw the bottom. There was tons of tread.
I saw the tread. There was plenty of
You
tread.
know, they could have been Heelys. That was the only thing I could think of. They
Okay,
look
Zach-
kind of like Heelys.
That brings up a point, and this is like, we have to consider, did Ken Lee die? Was that woman wearing Heelys? Okay.
That's a good point. I honestly didn't even think about that, which feels stupid.
Jordan, wasn't that the elimination challenge? Wasn't the quick fire, they go to the buffet, they're eating the food, like welcome to Top Chef. They're eating little snacks, and they had to make crap out of the snacks with no cutlery.
Episode 1?
Yeah.
In episode 1? I don't think that's in episode 1.
Am I crazy? Because Clay makes an apple. Am I crazy? I might have watched.
What
Did
you
Am
watch?
I thinking she's
Did
three?
you watch? Also, whose name did you just say?
Listen, I said Clay. I think he's.
Clay is not in season 1.
Okay, guys, this is a confession. I have watched so much Top Chef in the last week. I have blown through all of season 1 and gotten to season 3. So
Okay.
pardon my mistake.
Yes, that's also something important to know about the show in general, is that Reka and I have watched every season of Top Chef, maybe 6 to 12 times. Every day we spend many hours texting about it.
I am sorry. I did blow through like 100 episodes.
You were so sure. You were so sure.
So
Me.
sure.
Coming for me as if I'm wrong.
I
No.
Because now I do remember their elimination challenge is to just make a dish that represents you, right? That was like
Your dish.
Yes.
The Blueberry Keller thing was the quick fire, which is a boring quick fire. As I will say, as this show goes on for the next 7-8 years, trying to finish, all of the seasons of Top Chef, I hate these quick fires.
Yes.
They're so boring.
They're boring. And Jordan, this is something we talk about a lot. And Zach, I'm curious on your thoughts as someone who likes cooking, but maybe isn't like obsessed with it. It's just not very creative. It's very technical. That whole quick fire is based on a lot of like finger wagging, as opposed to like, here's saltines, grape jelly, and capers. Make something delicious out of it or whatever.
Yeah. It's a lot of gatekeeping, it feels
Yes.
like. It doesn't feel like I want to see what your brain works like, how like creative you are. Yes, the technical stuff should be important in some ways, but like, I don't know, maybe it's not the most important thing to start with.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Like any challenge that's like that tends to be a not super fun challenge to watch, especially if you're not a cooking fan and you don't know how a line works and you don't know who Hubert Keller is. So you don't know how crazy it is. I don't see why they don't start by like, make your signature amuse-bouche, or like, hey, here's the Top Chef kitchen. You've never been in this foreign kitchen. You have 15 minutes, make something out of whatever's in the pantry, or use these 5 spices or whatever. Which they come into later. It's obviously something where this show is getting its legs.
I was noticing that kind of with Survivor, if I can bring it back to.
Zach is trying to make this a Survivor podcast.
Yeah,
so
and
in
it's
the first
not
season
going
of
to
Survivor,
be. I don't care what you guys want.
Talk Survivor is. This is halfway through the episode. They're a lot of their challenges are like swim out and grab something and come back. And I don't know if they improve upon that, but it's like very like they're finding their legs as a TV show.
Exactly. This is like our Leslie Knope season 1 of Parks and Rec, where it's just, we don't know what it is yet.
You got that Paul Schreiber guy in there.
Yes.
You don't know if he's a part of it or really makes sense yet.
In the Mindy Project, there's 2 assistants that work at the desk. They disappear by episode 12. We go, okay, we're just figuring it out.
At one point in the episode, I thought it was really funny that they refer to the show after Ken is so disrespectful. Tiffany says, "You're disrespecting this project." It's like she doesn't even refer to it as like a TV show or a competition.
Untitled cooking show project. Yeah.
Like you're running this project. I found that very interesting.
Not to, I mean, like, we'll shit on Ken all day, I guess. But another thing about him is that, like, in his intro package, he's like, he's from Ireland, or I think, and he is talking about it. He's like, it's a militaristic training, it's talking about how like regimented it is. And then he proceeds to immediately dip his finger in the sauce, get in trouble, and then talk back to like his superiors.
Yeah.
So not militaristic. Yeah.
It's exactly. You know how every good private goes, No, sir.
You throw out the sauce, drill sergeant?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. He was so up his ass about that. So crazy. And also, like, when you're trying to, maybe I'm just like, I play by the rules. I'm like, you're trying to win like 100K. Are you really trying to get, you don't know anything about this show. The show has never aired and you're trying to like talk back.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
It's so bizarre. Like, obviously in other reality shows, there's villains that stay around because they're good and they know how to play the game. It's just like so obviously not the game.
I know, right? Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So we kind of think this quick fire was not satisfying, right?
Yeah.
And I did like seeing like Leanne crush. That was like nice, you know, and like Tiffany did well too. That was cool. Some other just little nuggets I wrote down. So something that Raphael Chestang, for any fans who know him, he pointed this out to me because I'm naive as hell, but just that people lie about their age on reality TV. And it is so crazy to me because I'm like, are some of these people lying? Steven, who's like the big wine guy and he's got a shiny face and gelled hair, is 24.
In the show?
On the season, he says that he's 24 years old.
That man says he's 24.
He's 45.
Right? He is 45. He is 45 and he is like a man who like brags about like how he lets his waiters keep their tips or something. And he's like seasoned and has run and failed a bunch of restaurants. Like he's 24. I'm like, I don't look that old and it's so crazy to me.
He's so annoying, right? It's just so annoying.
He's the worst.
The sommelier part is confusing though, because I expected him to be worse at cooking, and he kind of did. He was on the better end of the spectrum, right? Like,
yes, he was on the better end. It's funny because rewatching season 1, I did just rewatch season some like again. I've been watching a lot. He's in some like holiday special thing, and he again spends part of his budget on wine. And Tom points out to him in that episode, you know that if you buy wine to pair, which is not part of the challenge, you are also pairing it with other people's stuff because we eat it all at the same time. So it's funny to see the origin of him like, oh yeah, he keeps doing this in every iteration of Top Chef he's in. Like, yeah, dude, you're just helping other people.
I guess it's a strong brand. I don't know.
He looks like an eel or something. He's like so like wet looking, or I don't know.
He's not okay. What I will say though is they all look a little bit wet.
Everyone does look wet. I don't know if that's, I think it's
humid kitchen.
Yeah, it's very humid in San Francisco. Yeah, they're all like sticky looking and like I have curly hair and like I feel like a lot of the people with curly hair are not done good service in the early aughts reality TV.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Yeah.
Having not watched as much Top Chef as y'all, without spoiling who it is or whatever, but like, how many of these faces go on to be familiar? Or like, are people just drop off, like Ken Lee perhaps, or are some of them around in later seasons and food culture?
I will say, I think about 2 to 3 people from like every season ish, give or take, you see again in whether they're a judge or they come back to compete in some way, or you are cooking at their restaurant and they're just like a little cameo or something.
Yes, but what I will say is as the seasons progress, I would say the ratio of people who are either already kind of known gets bigger and bigger, in addition to the ratio of people that continue to do more after it's over. Like looking at season 1, so many of these chefs now have 1,000 followers on Instagram, just like cook somewhere or don't cook at all anymore. So just, are kind of like doing their own thing. And then 1 or 2 people have a following from season 1 that are still pretty successful.
Yeah.
But like, if you look at the most recent seasons, it's like everybody has been nominated for a James Beard Award. Everybody, people work at Michelin-starred chefs. So there are people that are kind of like in the culinary ether.
So those are the people not going on All Stars. Like it's a new season. They bring in people that are that good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like every season the chefs really do like get better and better.
That's cool.
Yes. It's
So we're watching the worst chefs of all time.
You're watching
right now.
the dregs, because something I was surprised about, not to say, so in future seasons, there are definitely home cooks and there are self-taught cooks, which is awesome.
We love.
In this season, I was shocked to like be reminded there are like 3 or 4 contestants that have 0 restaurant experience as part of their like bio. That is extremely unusual. And again, a kind of a points off for making Hubert Keller the first quickfire challenge. Those people immediately failed, of course. They've no restaurant experience.
I thought it was weird that there was someone who's like not done with cooking school.
Yes.
Yes. Candace and I, who kicked off, were obsessed with the fact that she says, yes, I'm a model.
Just like
in her intro, which
I want them to like take the head of that clip so I hear what the producers question or like what led her to say that. If anybody asked if she was a model, if there was any insinuation that she might be a model.
Yeah. I do modeling work is like how it's just like so crazy. But speaking of modeling, honestly, the fashion in this episode.
What year did this come out, right? Like,
let me tell you. Rick, are you pulling it up?
Yeah.
I will say it's so obvious, like early 2000s, I feel like, because the hats and the scarves.
Those little like engineer hats or whatever. Like
yeah, like there was a tiny train conductor.
The guy who won the real challenge of the episode, I forget his name, had the most early 2000s kind of vibe possible to me.
Yes.
Like old improv pictures you see, like
Harold.
It's that
Harold.
like
that's what you're talking about, right? Harold
Dieterle.
Oh wow. Do a Harold.
There you go, Zach. That's awesome. You should write that down.
Okay, we love improv.
Oh my God. The first season, do you have a guess as to what year?
Gosh, 1985.
After George Orwell.
Yeah. It's a sequel to 1984.
I'm gonna say 2004. So
2006. That's, to me, that seems like too recent. You all look way too early aughts for it to be 2000s, to be approaching the end of that decade. That's interesting. Here's a little sidebar. In the opening credits where everyone gets a moment to look cool, first of all, what would be your cool look? And don't pretend that you haven't thought about that.
So like they pose and it's
they're kind of just doing a lot of like, or like a cute like.
Yeah. I'll pick up something. I'll figure it out.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Jordan, do you have one?
I mean, I think for those who don't know me, I do love an onion. And I think if they would let me take a bite out of an onion like it was an apple, that would probably be
absolutely an unhinged answer. Usually it's people doing something cute with their coat.
Well, what am I gonna do? That's like, it's all that. What am I gonna do? Rick? I'll be like, oh, I'd be like this. Like,
so pretend these are kitchen shears.
Okay.
I'm gonna go.
That's cool. That's a good one. I like that. Okay.
Thank you.
Following suit of Jordan. Okay, what would I do? Maybe I like
You better have a good answer after coming for me like that.
What's something so cumbersome to do that like you eat like a hoagie or something?
And that makes sense because you're from Philly, so
exactly. I complete a whole hoagie in my cute little like.
You make it like a sandwich, like Shaggy and Scooby Doo, where he like makes a deck of cards fold, like that's your sandwich.
Opens your mouth back and just kind of slides it down your throat. Yeah, that's the cute thing I do. The reason I brought that up is I thought Harold looked kind of cute in his opening.
You think he looks cute now, or you thought he was like cute?
I thought he looked cute in his opening like thing.
But when you watched it now or at the time?
Yes, when I watched it now.
Oh, interesting.
Did you watch this when this originally aired?
I did.
Not in 2006. I watched it shortly. I started watching it in college, so shortly after. Yeah, it's not too far.
I'm wondering if I like saw clips on like Best Week Ever. You know, like it's so familiar without having to watch full seasons of it or having one.
Padma Lakshmi, and some people have asked us to speak on this, I think she really brought this show to a new level in a lot of ways. I think she has a lot of charisma. I think she's funny. I think she's just
I have to say, felt very cheated.
Because she's so hot?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's really, really, really hot. Okay, fine. She's a model.
Modeling work.
No, I felt cheated that she just wasn't in this episode because I didn't realize there was a time when she wasn't a host. And it really hurt. I feel like you're in for a full season of people saying this to you.
It is really sad to see Katie because she's clearly so uncomfortable. And so this is like a fun behind the scenes fact. Andy Cohen said that he once was watching the dailies, like the footage of the show, and he heard this loud noise. And he was like, what the hell is that? And it was Katie's heartbeat beating against her lob so hard out of like nerves and anxiety.
Oh,
that's really sad. I will say she has less personality than anyone I've ever seen on TV. And I don't mean that in a hateful way. I just mean she is not designed to be a host of a television show. I'm sure she's very smart. I think she's very talented.
Exactly.
And the only reason why I even bring this up, I would not say this
to anyone except you guys.
I would not say this to anyone except you guys, my friends. I am only saying this because she has gone on to host multiple other TV shows about food. And that is what's confusing to me. I would feel so bad for her if it was just like, okay, she did the Top Chef. It did not work. That is sad. And I feel bad for her. I would never speak of her again. But she now has her own show on like Travel Channel or something that's like Katie Lee Tastes the Coast or something. God, and so she's really other cooking shows. When I have hosted 0 cooking shows.
That's interesting. You have.
So something to think about.
I just think failing up is real, right?
I know. Yeah. Sure. This is maybe weird to say, and maybe it doesn't make sense. She reminds me of like a ladder. I don't know. There's just something. She just has this sort of like wooden, empty feeling to her. There's like something I see through about her. I don't know if that's like mean to say.
Wow, don't walk under her.
Somehow that was meaner than me saying failing up is real. Is that she looks like a ladder? What are you talking about?
She reminds me of a ladder.
Oh.
Okay, fine. I guess I won't say my opinions.
I do need to say though that as I brought up earlier, she was Billy Joel's wife. They were married for 5 years, and they did in fact meet when she was in college.
Well, Jersey, my good friend Jersey, brought up that Katie and Billy Joel got divorced, and she wrote a novel about surfing, and that sounds like a perfect. You marry Billy Joel in college, or you date in college, then you realize, oh my God, he's much older.
He was also in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was in 1920.
Yeah. It was kind of like a Tuck Everlasting situation where she lives forever and stays the same age, and Billy Joel just keeps getting older.
Oh, right. Wait, so you said Andy Cohen. Does that mean I'm getting my math right? Is Top Chef on Bravo?
Yes.
I've become a big Bravo head in the last couple weeks.
Have you?
I've been watching a lot of Below Deck. I'm sorry to keep talking about other shows.
Okay.
Below Deck,
like
Roni. I'm watching a lot of the Real Housewives stuff. So I see Andy Cohen on these talkbacks and stuff.
Yes.
So it's very interesting to see his fingerprint on this, I guess.
Yes. So he's like the EP of everything on Bravo. He's like the big creative exec there. And so. Yeah, anytime Top Chef has like a reunion or a Watch What Happens or whatever, it's always him hosting it. So he always knows all the drama going on.
He's got the 411.
He's got the 411. Yeah. Oh, another little side bit. Harold is 28. How do we feel about that?
Harold is 28?
That seems no, not now. At the time.
Sorry, in the show, Harold is.
Which one? Oh, Harold.
Yeah. He's your guy. He's your guy that won.
Yeah, that adds up. I would say he's like about 30 in my head.
Yeah, that feels normal to me.
To me, I guess if I met that man on the street and I found out he was younger than me, that would surprise me.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
I'm often older than the people around me who look my age.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are surprised that I'm only 17.
Yeah, I was surprised when I found that out.
Yeah.
because I look older.
Yeah. Yeah, you look 40, but you are 17.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, great.
I have another quick question about the quick fire, if I may.
Yeah.
So after it all happens, they're standing in the back, everybody yells at Ken. Ken is like eating something off a rack. Do y'all remember this?
Yeah, he like went over.
He went over and he's like, well, I'll touch some of this. Yeah.
What is it? Do they say? I'm so curious.
It's something from the restaurant, right? Like it was like something else that they were like an appetizer, a cold appetizer or something.
It looked like if someone took, because it was like a little dangly, it looked like he took something off of like a salad or like a garnish, which is like so crazy anyway to do. Yeah, I don't know. That was gross.
I've just been like thinking about that. I didn't know if anyone had any thoughts about it.
Yeah, what do people think it is in the chat? Pop off in the chat. What do you think Ken ate?
One of my least favorite parts of the whole episode is like he's arguing with, I don't remember anyone's names. I'll be she had red hair, Tiffany, and then they're sitting right next to each other in the car, and his arm is like fully around her.
Arm around her.
Wild.
This dude blew it hard. This guy blew it in every category. He just fully blew it.
Every single category. And how relatable also is that moment? It was Leanne, Tiffany in the middle, and then Ken in the car. And Leanne's just trying to make really like neutral conversation of just like, she said something like, oh, what an experience, or what a day, or something. And Tiffany's like, yeah. And then you just see Ken. It's like they're trying to just say something that won't make this man explode or be annoying.
Yeah.
I found that deeply relatable. We're like, someone has to say words, but we can't set off this man.
Told it like it was. She was like, he was being rude about it, and she was like, you know what? You actually really ruined my night. So
yes!
You just,
which was incredible.
I love her. I love her so much in season 1. She is the best.
So Tiffany gets painted as like a really like a bitch, quote unquote, and we all kind of know, especially during that time period, how often a woman is a bitch on a TV show when she's just sitting doing nothing. No less if she has like an opinion about something, because like Tiffany seems very cool in this episode.
Yeah.
And I don't know, as like I think it's just a lot of that mid 2000s very overt sexism.
That's really hard. That's what's the hardest part about watching old reality TV, or these just like horrible opinions that are just common or just too common. Again, a big part of Survivor. I won't get into it, but yes.
Go off, man.
But I like Tiffany's, what was it, a little pumpkin?
Oh my God, we have to talk about this little pumpkin.
We got to talk about the little pumpkin. Okay. It's sick how cute it is.
It is. Okay, here's the thing. Would I serve that at like a fancy dinner? I mean, I'm a little bit fun, so maybe I would. But I guess it was just so out of left field for me, for her, for what I thought. Because I've seen her in later seasons and I didn't remember how she was. So for like, make your signature dish, I was so like charmed, like that she made a little pumpkin lasagna in a little pumpkin. It was so charming.
Yeah. I thought it was super charming. It felt like everyone else was just making some weird gray food. And then it felt like one of the only things that had any personality.
That's
even though she didn't win.
I was surprised that people, because everyone is normally so chefy on these shows. And Tiffany is a really skilled chef who I would imagine would fall into that category. So it was so sweet to see that little sugar pumpkin.
Yeah, and just to see someone do something that's not a piece of cooked meat.
Yes, it was vegetarian too, which was like, damn, that's my go.
Yeah, pretty rare.
That's a flex, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely eat that. I think the craziest part, well, there were two things that I would say that felt really wild to me. When Candace serves her dish, she's like, it's on a bed of regular blanched asparagus.
Regular.
Which I thought was so interesting because it's like, this is your time to describe food in any way you could possibly ever want to describe your food.
What other kind of asparagus?
I guess it just means it's not seasoned.
This is my mashed potatoes on demented asparagus.
It's like
crazy asparagus.
Yeah, fucked up asparagus.
Like so bizarre to me. And then also on top of that, I am infatuated with Dave's dish. And just a reminder for people who don't remember Dave made the fattest plate of food I've ever seen, which I absolutely love because nothing irritates me more than getting a tiny dish.
Yes.
He makes a plate of lamb enchiladas and then serves them in the center of the plate a huge, I'm talking maybe 3 to 4 cups of mashed potatoes studded with corn and black beans.
Yes.
The plate was so full.
Yes.
And I loved that. The thought of eating mashed potatoes with enchiladas had never crossed my mind. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. Why
now
not?
I do it every night.
What's stopping me? Why haven't I done
it's
it
time.
before?
It's time for it.
That's what is really, so as much as like, I know that obviously future seasons are a little more like modernized and the caliber of chefs gets better, there is something really refreshing about just, again, what shocked me about Tiffany's dish, and now that you bring up Dave's dish, is how like, I don't want to say homey, there's like some weird, I don't find homey to be negative, but I know some people do.
Yes.
It's like a very honest or like down to earth dish. Yeah.
And then everyone talked about how good it tasted.
Yes, because you're prioritizing flavor over appearance. And Zach, like something that happens a lot in future seasons and on a lot of cooking shows is style over substance.
Yeah.
Which we hate.
You make something that looks cool, or you're like, wow, this is an apple, but it tastes like chicken or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, why?
I wanted to eat an apple.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Zach, did you have a dish that appealed to you most or appealed to you least in this challenge?
I was interested in the dish that had like the kind of Jamaican
Ryan's dish.
Yeah, that seemed cool. I was like, I was intrigued by that, but then it didn't get the traction that I thought it would. Because it felt like the theme is sort of lacking in a lot of the dishes, like other than like you are bringing something that you like and is indicative of you. That one felt like, ooh, I see where like, you know, this is like me, the bad executive, like, yeah, that looks good. But it did look good.
Yes, it did.
I totally agree with you. I thought that one looked delicious. Just for people who didn't watch the episode, it was a jerk chicken breast with a coconut mashed potato and a like mango salsa, and it looked really good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I do have to point out, I did write down some kind of buzzwords that he said when he was serving the dish that made my body crawl out of my skin. And he said that he was serving the chicken and the mashed potatoes with a side of mango salsa to provide a smooth landing. Was a direct quote, had truly no concept of what that could possibly mean. And then he also told them all that he hoped and thought that they would find the dish very succulent.
Yeah. That was nasty.
And that was kind of hard for me to hear.
Can I tell you what I imagined when he said smooth landing?
Yes.
I imagined it like a chaser, or like you drink something that makes something like alcohol go down smooth.
Little shooter.
Yeah, you eat this like really strong, pungent coconut mashed potato. You chase it with a shot of mango salsa.
God, what? Talk about the opposite of a smooth landing by saying any of that when you present your dish.
Absolutely. It was not a smooth landing to my brain.
Yeah.
That was really hard for me. And then another thing that really I found upsetting and confusing, and maybe this is my lack of food knowledge, but Stephen referred to his dish. He said it's seared to the 4th power.
Yeah. That was awful.
If anyone has any idea in the comments, if that's, in my mind, I'm like, okay, he did a hard sear and then just put a fancy name on it. But if someone in the comments is like, no, Jordan, that actually is a thing, please let me know because I have never heard of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, to talk like a sear to the 4th power just means 4 different types of searing done at once, right? But I don't know what it means. Like I couldn't explain further than that in my own head.
To me, it sounds like a hard sear. In actuality, what it actually sounds like to me, if someone said that to me, I would be like, oh, you burned it. Like,
and
what does a hard sear mean?
Right now, people are in the comments saying it sounds like burnt, and I'm like, that's
Yeah, that's like double speak. That's like 1984 Orwellian. Like, yes, this isn't burnt. It's seared to the fourth power. It has character.
Reika, I have to ask, did you just read 1984? Because you've referenced it twice during this live
So there are two things I'm trying to promote here, and one is Planet Rose on 14th and A in New York City, and the other is 1984.
To be fair, I talked about 1985 for a little while.
And that's Taylor Swift's album, right? Or that's 89.
Yeah.
Excuse me. She's 4 years younger than that. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Fuck.
What was I gonna say? Why were y'all thinking of how do you like judge a dish as like not a meat eater? Like, do you feel like you have to put it through a different lens? Is that a boring question? Sorry.
No, I absolutely love this question.
Yeah.
Okay. It honestly, this is the stupidest answer. It is a little like code switching, because you just go like, oh, yeah, I get why that would taste good.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, if that was my experience, for sure I would eat that. Even as it is in restaurants, I will always ask like, oh, what are you gonna get? And even if it's like my friend's getting, I've been to barbecues. I went to your birthday, Zach, and we went to get hot chicken. And I'm like, ooh, what are you guys getting? I want to know. Because I like to imagine, ooh, I would get the ribs. I always do. Or I would get I would get the Nashville hot. What do you guys do? I'll give advice. Very annoying. So I do have my opinions, even.
Can't wait till when we can all go to a restaurant together and like watch people order.
Okay. You've got to have the ribs. They simply look amazing. So I still get a lot out of it. I get bummed when there's no vegan alternative or vegetarian alternative for some stuff. Like anytime that's like a dish, it's like, wow, this perfect piece of raw fish that didn't need anything on it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But like, I always feel there's like something I can compare it to.
Sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like there's always a sauce, there's always a veg, there's always something. There are a couple challenges over the course of the show where they have a challenge where I'm just like, I really don't care about this at all. Like one challenge, they have this thing called what's it called? A meat?
A meat?
It's called a meat. They eat a meat. What's that called? Meat. No, what's it called? It has a specific name. It's called
what are you, wait, give me the headline of what you're talking about.
I can't. No, it's the thing where they go to a beefsteak. That's what it's called.
Ooh.
They call it a beefsteak.
Yes.
And it's like a food festival that's just all meat. And then
Hands.
they just eat meat with their hands, and there's like really no sauces or anything. And I'm kind of like, okay, this is boring to me, because to me, it's also like, I wouldn't want to go to like a cauliflower festival where they were like, here's 700 types of cauliflower with no sauce.
Hey, Jordan, that is offensive. Cauliflower festival is something I frequent regularly.
Rika started the cauliflower festival.
And there's no spin on it. It's just different raw cauliflower.
Yeah, just different raw, purple, green, the yellow kind.
Yes.
That being said, often when they get assigned a vegetarian or a vegan challenge, these contestants lose their goddamn minds. They're like, I cannot compute. Or if they can compute, they make the most disgusting thing on earth, and I'm ashamed.
Yeah, they're like, I sat on an heirloom tomato.
Yeah.
And then served it to you because I didn't know what else to do.
I microwaved 2 broccoli and because I didn't know, and I accidentally sneezed on it.
It felt a little like the person in this first episode that was bringing the more vegetable spin.
Yes.
Kind of beefed it.
And Andrea, right?
Andrea.
Yeah.
See, that bummed me out because her whole thing is like nutrition. And I'm like, I'm all for nutrition stuff, but I don't. Being vegan and being nutritious are not the same. Also, I could eat onion rings every single day and be vegan. Yes. But it bums me out because she made exactly what I think scares people off from eating vegetables, from being vegetarian, from being vegan. I was like, I wouldn't fucking eat that. That looked like plain lentils on too much vegetable. That looked gross. You gotta have a sauce. You gotta have a gravy. There better be spices galore in there. You got to get some salt on that thing. I can already tell there's salt on it. I've eaten that thing too many times.
That's one of those meals that never end, I feel like.
Yes.
Where you're just like, I feel like I've been eating lettuce for 3 hours.
Yes. And like cold, what it looked like cold, unseasoned lentils. I have such a visceral understanding of what that tastes like. When you get like an airplane salad or whatever, and they're like the vegetarian special, and it's just like everything that they took the meat out, so it's just everything else that has no salt and like, sitting and is cold, and it's
just your lettuce sandwich. Yeah.
Oh God.
I was just curious. Like I felt like I had this ping as a brand new viewer while watching this episode. Like when they do the beat of like the who's gonna go home, they bring in the three worst chefs of all time, and I really thought they were gonna keep Ken Lee around just because of his drama factor.
Okay, here's one thing about Top Chef you have to know, Zach. It's all about the food.
Wow.
They don't produce their people the way.
Wow.
Thank you. So like this isn't The Bachelor, honey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
They're not like producing and be like, let's keep around the dramatic bitch. They're like, did your food taste good? And you will see that in both directions. You'll see the villain get kicked off for cooking something shitty. You'll see a good person get kicked off for cooking something shitty.
I gotta respect it. You gotta respect the purity of the game.
Exactly. Tom Colicchio runs a really tight ship. He literally says, there's so many clips of him he'll be like, I don't mind when people talk back to me. I don't care. It's all about the food. Because like people do like yell at him and stuff in the judges table. He doesn't really care.
Wow.
So I want to touch on at the beginning of this elimination challenge, they asked Ken what he's going to make, and Ken says, I don't have a signature dish because I don't have a restaurant, which I think is a very bizarre thing to say.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like everyone has a signature dish. So I would love, Reka, Zach, I would love to know your signature dishes. If anyone has a signature dish that they want to drop in the comments, I would love to hear what your signature dish is.
I'm sorry, y'all have signature dishes?
Zach, I'm sure you have a signature dish.
I don't have a restaurant.
But
I don't have a big building where I sell food and I'm in charge of it.
As you know, Jordan and I and everyone in this chat all have restaurants. Now, can we define signature dish for the at-home cook, right? Because I'm not so like for me, I cook for me and me only. There's not a lot of people that eat my food and go like, Reka, can you make that again? Yes. So we define a signature dish as something you love to cook, something you love to eat, something.
I would say it's really up to you, whatever your interpretation is. You're like, this is, so I'll start. I'll start off as an example. My signature dish, something that I would make if I like, let's say I had like a hottie coming over for dinner, and I'm making them dinner. I'm going to make shrimp and grits. I'm going to make a really cheesy, creamy grit, lots of butter. And then my shrimp, I'm going to do it New Orleans barbecue shrimp style with a lot of butter, a lot of Worcestershire, a lot of garlic, a lot of Cajun seasoning. And then if I really want to go over the top, I'm going to garnish it with crispy fried okra. That would be my signature dish that I make when I'm trying to impress someone.
Jordan, you've literally never made that for me, so I do.
Okay. Yeah. You okay, Reka?
No, it's okay. It's just okay. I thought you wanted to impress me, Jordan, so I would like to eat that.
It sounds so good, by the way.
Yes, anyone's invited over to have it after COVID is over. Anybody in the chat, Zach, all you guys are invited over.
Great.
If I'm not on a date, y'all are invited over.
Great.
Thank you. I guess my signature dish, I will say I've made this and people have liked it. And I'm going to name drop here. Do you know someone named Laura, aka Mike Trapp's wife?
Laura Cherkis?
Yeah.
Yes.
Laura.
Laura.
She liked my chana masala that I made. And they're a cooking couple. They cook.
They know what they're doing. Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, okay. So I'm going to say, here's my signature dish. Here's what you're getting on a date with me. I'm going to make chana masala, and that's chickpeas in like an Indian gravy that's like tomatoes, onions, garlic, cumin, turmeric, curry powder, and it's going to be spicy. And then I'm going to top that off with so much cilantro your head's going to spin. Sorry for my non-cilantro heads, because boo to you. I can eat cilantro.
I'm sorry.
I can eat it like popcorn. I love herbs. Yeah. So I'm going to make that for one curry. And here's the thing. Here's something I will tell you guys, people mess up at Indian restaurants and it hurts. I don't know why people go to an Indian restaurant and they're like, yeah, I'm going to get the chana. Well, I'm going to get the bindi masala. I'm going to get bangan bharta. I'm like, and we're all sharing all of that, right? You're not just eating one giant bowl of oily eggplant yourself, right? We're all eating multiple curries, right? That is how to eat Indian food. You got to eat like 4 or 5 different vegetables with your flatbread or your rice.
Yeah, it's like family style, right?
Family
Like,
style, exactly. But I see people not do it that way, which I find interesting.
Sometimes it's like if I don't know all the people I'm eating with, or like, have you ever been in a situation where like
business lunch with Indians?
like just I mean, I would do that. I enjoy it, but like I guess I'm too incorrectly polite.
No, you can't be polite. That's why it's so nice. I love when Reika and I go out to eat together because it's like, I'm getting, you're getting, and we're getting, let's go. Like, it's like a cartoon of women.
One time, Jordan and I went to Joy in Highland Park. Incredible restaurant.
Yeah, love it.
I will say, I don't want to brag, but Jordan and I are very charming. And we were just chit-chatting with the person at the register, and she gave us all of our appetizers for free. And we ordered like 5 appetizers and like 4 entrees and 2 drinks and got dessert. And it was freaking awesome.
That's
it was
so
sick. Good. Okay, wait.
They're really good about that. That restaurant, those 2 restaurants. What's the other one?
Pine and Crane.
Pine and Crane. That's the one I go to all the time, and they are so good about like, hey, we accidentally made extra dumplings if you want it, or like, like you got this one wrong, keep it. We'll give you this other thing. Like, I love it. One of my favorite restaurant experiences.
Very kind.
Yes. Okay, so I'd have chana masala for you. I would have tofu matar paneer. So paneer is an Indian cheese. It comes in like cubes. And you've probably had it, but maybe not known since it's Sog Paneer, which is when it's got the spinach gravy. I've
bought paneer recently.
Yeah?
Yeah, at India Sweet and Spice.
I love India Sweet and Spice. I was just there.
Yes.
And so you can do it with tofu, heads up. If you get extra firm tofu, you can press all the water out of it and then treat it just like paneer. And you make a nice like pea tomato gravy sauce with it that's also spicy and creamy and delicious. So that would be my second curry. My third curry would probably be a bindi masala, which is okra, because I want to get, Tom hates okra on the show, you'll realize. But every time someone makes it for him, he likes it. So I'm like, bitch, you like okra.
Yeah.
And so I would make that, and then I would make you chapati, which is like a flatbread that's like golden and crispy and also soft, and you can sop up all the juices. And then I would make you a mango lassi, and for dessert, I would make you rainbow sprinkle cookies or like an oatmeal cranberry zebra chip cookie.
That sounds really fucking good.
So Zach, what's your signature dream day meal?
Okay. So I got a hottie coming over, as we've all said. I cook a lot of stuff that my dad would make us when we were growing up, because he has an interesting natural fusion where he came to the United States in like his mid-30s from Japan, when there was also like not a lot of Asian food in the South. Yeah. And so he was just like kind of experimenting, doing his own thing. But like, and now this is not that experimental of a dish at all. But the specific marinade of like a few things that are found in the South and a few things that are found in Japan, I think is really good for like, this is how he marinates his steak, where you get like some red miso. It's almost like, like Korean barbecue almost, mixed with like something that's like, it is called Dale's sauce. The sauce that's like just like a marinade available in the South that's like kind of a soy sauce based marinade with like garlic and stuff, and then some soy sauce. Get some apple in there. You kind of grate a whole onion into it.
Okay,
like apple.
I don't want to interrupt you, but can I just say that grating onion is such a big Southern sauce thing.
Really?
That is so underrated. I'm really glad you brought it up.
I didn't know what the origin of it was, other than that he would do it. But like grating onion, it's a horrible experience, but it's like grating onion, a bunch of garlic, apple for a little sweetness in there. And then you marinate some ribeyes in there. Ideally on a charcoal grill. You grill them medium rare or whatever. Just white rice on the, like get like white rice on the side. Also get an onion, chop it up, don't cook it or anything, and then put raw onion on the top of the steak. And it gives us like a little crunch to it as well. And then for sides, I don't know, like some broccoli or something.
Okay.
No. This is where I knew I would lose everyone. I was like trying to think if I had a good, actually good side to go with it. I think some Japanese eggplant would go really well.
I was gonna say, there's so many nice Asian like pickly or like slaw type things that could go with. That would so good, like a cucumber slaw or like salad rather.
I really like doing like you get like cabbage mayo, Ajinomoto, like just like basically MSG, and like make like a very nice slaw that's very good.
That sounds so good. And the entire time I was thinking I could do that on like a crusted tofu for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that. Oh yeah, broccoli with caper, broiled broccoli with capers. Yes. Incredible. Yeah, all these signature dishes sound very good.
Yeah, I would eat literally anything. I saw someone said like a chickpea sweet potato curry, which sounds so good. Someone made a cucumber salad today.
Yes.
That sounds really good.
Yes, actually, that brings me to my next question, which is what have people been cooking lately? Because Top Chef, if nothing else for me, inspires me and makes me want to cook.
Yeah.
Have people cooked anything lately that they've been like jazzed about, or are they gonna cook something, or just eat something or order something?
And are you asking the chat?
Yeah, I'm asking you guys. I'm asking everybody.
The last thing I cook that I like is like kind of a go-to in terms of just like you get it's very filling. You get a lot of meal out of it. It's just doing a Japanese curry where you like it's just like in terms of vegetables, it's like potatoes, onions, carrots in it. And just get like a pre-made like little Japanese curry box thing that you chop up and put it in there, and some chicken, and like I've been eating that a lot. It's very good.
Yum.
Yeah.
That's delicious. I have one of those like the red like spicy box of the Japanese curry in my cabinet right now. I'm like, maybe I'll eat that for dinner.
Yum.
If you gotta. It's good. It's good stuff. That with rice, it's like the meal that I eat where I go, ugh, I'm so full. Like that's what I don't know what I do for fun now.
Yeah, that's your enchiladas with mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Oh.
I recently made Johnny cakes for the first time, which I did not. I'm from the Northeast and from an entirely Indian immigrant family. So anything like remotely Southern, and I'm from a mostly vegetarian family, I didn't know about. Even like barbecue growing up was like my dad putting like paneer on the grill. I didn't know a Johnny cake was different than a pancake, and I made some recently, and I'm like in love.
What is a Johnny cake? Maybe I don't really know what that is.
Jordan, do you know like a strict definition? Because I have my like half-assed one.
I don't really know. Johnny cakes isn't a big like New Orleans thing, so it wasn't a thing that I grew up eating a lot, but I feel like it's just like a savory, grittier pancake.
Yes, it was basically the recipe I used. So I had dehydrated corn from making some corn cookies with Katie Barsotti, if she's in the chat, 3 years ago. And I've never used this dehydrated corn since, but these Johnny cakes required cornmeal. So I used a mortar and pestle and I crushed all the corn up.
Wow.
And
that's hot, honestly.
And I made my own cornmeal, and then you put flour, salt, just like normal like pancake ingredients. But the texture is like this, and I made it vegan, so I used flax eggs for it. And the texture is unbelievable. It's like crispy on the outside. It has kind of a cornbready texture, but also a pancake texture. And I ate it with sweet potatoes with like a spicy brown butter sauce and some like greens.
Sounds really good.
It was so good. Jordan, what about you?
I have been cooking so much, all different types of things. This week, my roommate has gotten really into making pizzas and making dough. And the other day, he turned one of his pizza doughs into bread, and it was like the best bread I've ever had. So he's going to recreate that bread this week, and we're going to make portobello mushroom Philly cheesesteaks.
Oof. What?
So like portobello mushrooms instead of meat. I got some Hubanel peppers
Yes.
from the farm share that Reka and I are both a part of. I'm going to do some grilled onions, some provolone, mayonnaise. I don't know if mayonnaise is traditional on a cheesesteak, but I love a sauce. So I think you need like some kind of sauce. If anyone like has recommendations for a sauce you put on cheesesteaks, feel free to drop that in the chat.
Here's one, Jordan, because I'm from Philly and I've never had a cheesesteak in my life. And I made cheesesteaks for the first time out of yuba sheets, which is tofu skins.
Right. Yes. I remember.
And when you peel the tofu skins apart and you kind of make it into this like ribbony sort of texture, Patrick McDonald, friend of the family for College Humor, has a queso cookbook that has a vegan queso recipe. And I thought it was going to taste like diarrhea and it was going to give me diarrhea. It tasted good. And I used that and it was and I got diarrhea, but it tasted so good. The diarrhea. The queso was bad. The diarrhea.
That's part of the recipe, though.
It's part of the recipe, and I put it on a cheesesteak, and yum.
So sorry. I am so sorry.
Apologies.
I do want to point out that a lot of people were like messaging us being like, oh, it's like a College Humor reunion. Because you two are here. And I think that also makes sense because I was in some College Humor sketches.
Yeah, and so this is really,
as both of you know,
it's a reunion.
I was referred to by fans as a frumpy version of Amy Adams.
Incredible.
Oh God!
You guys remember that? So feel free to drop in the chat if you think I'm a frumpier version of Amy Adams.
I think you're a hotter version of Amy Adams.
Oh my God, Reka.
Is Amy Adams the hottie coming over?
Yeah, Amy Adams is the one coming over from Shrimp and Grits at Jordan's place.
I mean, hey. Lesbians like people who look like them. That's true. Sorry, I'm hooking up with Amy Adams.
Sorry, world.
You heard it here first.
Sorry, everyone.
Hey, you heard it here first.
Well, guys, this was so fun. Are there any other food questions we want to ask Zac, Jordan?
I don't know, Zac. You've really okay. This is I think this one's really important. Ken, after he gets sent home, he ends the episode by saying, "I'll always be me."
Yeah.
And I kind of want to know, Zac, how will you continue after this episode is over? Talk Chef is over. We'll be back next week with a new guest, but you will continue to exist in the world without us. How will you continue to be you in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Gosh. It's a really good question.
Yeah.
I'm going to consistently make around 3 dinners a week. I'm going to get a bunch of chicken thighs every grocery trip and then just to assume I'll figure it out. Even though I don't buy anything else new. Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to try one new thing this week. And that's being me, but me with a little growth attached.
Wow, yeah.
He was like, spice it up, Zac.
He's a Portobello mushroom growth.
It's a living.
Horrible. Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning into this. Please, Jordan has her Venmo up in the chat.
I'm dropping the Venmo in the chat one more time. I know we're all sick of it, but any amount of money helps. $1, 50 cents, anything that we can send to Planning Justice adds up. Yes. Next week we'll have a new charity and a new guest, and you can find out who that is by following us on Instagram at Talk Chef. Yes. And we'll also be posting about food, social justice issues and other things like that, contestants from Top Chef, restaurant news, anything of the sort.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Zac, for joining us tonight on our premiere episode.
Thanks for having me. It's deeply honored.
Yeah.
You are Top Chef.
You are Top Chef.
Wow, it's a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah. We would, normally they end their episodes like pack your knives and go, but we're like, we got to keep it positive. So you are Top Chef this week.
I won. Wow. Cool.
You win $150,000 sponsored by Glad Home Care Products.
For my restaurant that I'll own. And then I'll eventually have a signature dish.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, all right, Reka, I love you. I'll text you in 2 minutes probably.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Talk Chef. Have a really great night and cook something good this week. You guys deserve it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.